If you haven't heard about Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Lawful Stupid just jumped over. First of all, it's free, and we love that. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, wherever you're at, on the go. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. There are a lot of other vendors out there, a lot of platforms that they will make sure your podcast gets to. So it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast with zero minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to another character episode in Lawful Stupid Campaign 3. So today we have one of your favorite boys, definitely more favorite than Dwayne, is Shainsaw. You know him from Campaign 1 as Christoph, you know him from Campaign 2 as a DM. But in this campaign, you'll be who?
I'll be Lucien Bright, the cleric.
And so we've had a lot of people in the Discord who have been trying to just figure out who everybody was going to be before this happened, and I can't wait to see the chatter on how right or wrong they were when we get there. What was your motivation for being a cleric?
I always loved clerics so much. They are such a versatile and wonderful class that I'm really into. You told us before we started recording that this would be a more roleplay heavy campaign, and I like a lot of the spells that clerics have, not so much for combat, but for out of combat encounters. So I love the idea of going to a village and seeing a frail woman and being like, restoration. You're cool now. You're starving? Create food and water. I'm here for you. I'm a cool dude.
Perfect. And I think, yes, it will be very much roleplay based because I'm not great with combat. So, there you have it.
It's only one way to get good.
Well, we're going to do cinematic theme mostly. Let's get into your episode, my dude.
Okay.
So, as we did for Abon's episode, kind of a 4-part setup for your character to get some backstory, some insight into who they are, why they are the way they are. So, part 1, and I'll know when to jump in. So, just take it away. Part 1 is kind of the day in the life of Lucien Bright. So, you tell me what you got going on. What does Lucien like to do on a day-to-day basis? What's he about?
Well, it really depends on the day. I think Lucien wakes up. He lights himself a cigarette. Lucien, I'll describe him, shall I?
You shall.
He's a human lad. He wears what you would typically think of the garb of a Catholic priest. However, where the black would be is like a dull faded red, and where the white would be on the collar, it's like a golden yellow. And he's got tan skin. He's got like dirty blonde hair that's stuck up in a quiff hairstyle, is what they call it. Youths, you got me.
Youths,
He's got a quiff hairstyle, and I think he rolls out of bed. He stays at the local temple. He's got room and board there because he is a. It's interesting to talk about clerics versus priests, because not all clerics are priests and not all priests are clerics. In fact, most priests aren't clerics. Clerics are chosen by their god to be an avatar for their abilities. But our sweet boy, Lucien, is both a cleric and a priest is his profession as well. So that's kind of how he earns his keep. And he's definitely the most junior member there among the clergy. He's definitely almost a little bit of an outcast, really quiet, kind of keeps to himself in that atmosphere, but he spends all of his free time kind of in the city. And he's got a really good relationship with the people. I think that he's always bringing bread and goods to the less fortunates, and he's really trying to build that sense of community.
Yeah, and I think so. this is us kind of like making this up right now, but Lucien Bright is in the city of Taggart. It's a larger city. It is on the, if you're looking at the map, would be like pretty far west as you can go on the continent that it's on. It sits, basically, most of it is inside of a cliff, underground, sort of that way. So a lot of the sunlight hits the side of a cliff, and that's where a lot of the light comes in. But to get into the city, you would have to go like through this gated area, the stone walled area with guards and whatnot, and then get access down into the city. There are various layers of this town. And so the layer that you would be at, where there's a lot of impoverished, where you spend a lot of time, maybe you live a little further down, because the further down you go, the more money you have. And so maybe you're mid-tier, a little higher, but you definitely work on one of those first, second level places of Taggart. And you specifically were chosen by the goddess of light, Nova. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our Lady of Light.
Excellent. So in a day in the life, what would you be doing in Taggart?
Yeah, I think that, one of his favorite things to do is definitely to visit the orphanage. Nova teaches us that everyone has a light, but children are the most pure, undimmed, perfect, beautiful light. So to be able to bring any sort of joy to these orphans, these impoverished children here in Taggart is just his favorite thing. So he, I think, kind of does like their Sunday school. And so he goes out there and he's teaching them, very simple stuff about, the whole pantheon of all the gods. But, I think he's sneaking in some sweets. Mm-hmm. I think he's ooh, look at that, I got a doll. Ooh, look at this. Here's a little train. Here's a little wooden train.
And so who are one of your favorite kids there? Who's like one kid that always sticks out to you?
Man, Tasha's my sweetheart. She really is. She is, her parents both, very recently, they were very devout. They would come to church, and I think that Lucien definitely had a relationship with them, but they passed away recently. They worked on the railroads, and kind of a hazardous life sometimes. So not having anywhere else to go, Tasha did wind up in the orphanage. But I think that Lucien can't help but to give her a little bit more attention.
Okay, and so a day in the life looks like Lucien's just doing what Lucien does best and giving of himself. And so he travels pretty much daily. There may be some other times he's got some work to do, but any extra time he gets, finds his way on over to this orphanage, particularly to see Tosh whenever he gets a chance. Yeah,
I think that he's really known about town. I don't think there's anybody that would really not recognize him. He probably rushes to get his chores done, like wakes up at like 4 a.m. super early, gets all the stuff he's got to get done as part of his job, and then he hits the streets until late and comes back and crawls into bed and does it all over again.
So a man who experiences almost daily what it feels like to just be going to bed because you're physically, mentally, emotionally have given it your all throughout the day.
I think that it's the only way that he can sleep, because we're really getting some deep character stuff.
Let's do it.
Lucien is afraid of the dark. It's as this powerful spiritual resonance he has with the Lady of Light and all things bright. It's affected him to the point where whenever he's away from that, he feels like he's away not only from safety, but also away from the love of his goddess and the love and the light of the people that he's built around him. So in those quiet moments in the dark where he's trying to fall asleep, those are the hardest for him. So if he's exhausted when he flops into bed and he can avoid that, great. If not, he's usually got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth with a light cantrip cast on the cherry as he just whiles away the hours.
Man, that's so good.
Thanks.
So part one, you've got it. That's the day in the life. So part two, on a particular day, same thing, up at 4, finishing all the chores you can around what, your house, the monastery? What would you call it?
It's a temple.
Around the temple.
Yeah.
So temple there, and you finished, and you're heading, and you notice like a smile where you maybe just had just a stonewalled look as you do your chores, and knowing you're done, a smile creeps across your face. You're going to see Tosh. You're going to the orphanage, and you've got a special gift for her today, something you found. What was it?
She has a sweet tooth. In fact, she has very few of her baby teeth left that aren't riddled with cavities, because she just is. She likes sweets, and I got my hands on a Trader Tot came by with some hard molasses candy, and I know that she's gonna flip when she sees it.
Excellent. So you've got some hard molasses candy, and as you come near the orphanage, you see some of the caretakers kind of outside shooing the kids back in, and there's a man who's got on like cowboy boots, a really nice hat, and every time he takes a step, he's got like spurs on so they ka-ching, ka-ching. He's wearing a pistol belt with bullets in that, a couple pistols on each hip. It's kind of leaned, very McCree style-esque character. He's even got a big cigar in, and he's got a few other fellows who are with him in tow. And as you come up, the caretakers, older human women, are kind of one or two are crying. Again, they're shooing the kids back inside, and that's what you see as you approach.
I think that obviously concerned, but maybe a little bit apprehensive, Lucian's going to approach one of the caretakers to kind of see what's going on. He's going to say, Belinda, what's happening?
Mister, it's so terrible. This man say he's going to take orphanage away from us.
No, surely not. Who is he?
He say he work for a railroad, and that he planned to destroy this place to build up a train tracks to come to town. This spot specifically.
No, you attend to the children. I'll speak. Do you know what his name is?
He calls himself Nick.
Nick. Okay. I'm gonna talk to Nick. Belinda, you get the kids inside, okay?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
And then I'm going to approach this, and I think it's kind of apprehensively, not exactly an imposing figure, Lucian. He kind of straddles up, like hands in his pockets. He's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, lit, but not really drawing on it. Excuse me, Mr. Nick?
And he I think he's talking to his guys, and maybe he's pointing at something, but his back is to you as he's pointing at all these different areas within the orphanage, the structure itself, the grounds that it's on. And upon you saying that, he turns and he kind of like flicks ash off a cigar, puts it back in his mouth, and says, "Yeah, how can I help you?"
Hello, it's good to meet you. My name is Lucian. I am a priest at the local temple. I've heard a rather troubling rumor, and I just wanted to get to the bottom of it.
Well, go on. I ain't got all day.
Well, some of the folks, they were concerned that, and I know this sounds crazy.
Spit it out, boy.
Sorry, that you were going to tear down the orphanage to put train tracks in?
Boy, you got two good ears, because that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Surely there's another way. This is there's nowhere else to go. These children.
Well, that's precisely why I'm putting it in right here. These children got nothing else to do, and I got people who need to work the railroads. Guess who gets to be the ones to work them railroads?
Mr. Nick, are you a man of faith by any chance?
Yeah, the almighty gold piece. That's who I worship.
Well, the shine of gold can be alluring, but there is a brighter light in this world. Our Lady of Light, she proclaims that children are the purest and most beautiful light that exists within our world, and you would dull that light with work and toil. This is the only chance at innocence they'll ever have. Don't you remember when you felt that pure innocence and joy of youth?
He kind of looks down. He says, "Nope, don't care.
Anyways, I got to get back to work here, bud. We got to make some last minute orchestrations go down. So if you don't have anything else, Father, I don't know what to call you.
You can just call me Lucien.
Lucien, pretty name. I got to be getting.
When does the destruction take place?
Woof. I mean, if I had it my way, you know what? I do. And actually, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be making sure that this place. We're gonna fancy up this city a little bit more. It's been dirty for far too long, and I'm gonna be the man to help change it. You talk about light. Well, you'll be able to see this place for miles.
I thank you for your time, Mr. Nick. I will call on you tomorrow.
Well, you better catch me early, because I'm riding out as early as I can get out of this dusty old place.
You're leaving? You're not going to oversee the...
Oh, I'll be back. I'll be making trips back and forth. But I pay people to do that, son.
I see. Is there anything that I can say or do to change your mind?
And he pulls out like a scroll and he hands it to you. And if you were to open that, it is an application to join the railroad crew that will help be building the tracks on the way here. He goes, yeah, sure, put your name on that and I can pay you a fair wage.
No, I mean to change your mind about tearing down the orphan.
Yeah, about exactly 0 things would change my mind. So I'll be on my way. Good day to you, Lucifer.
Thank you, sir.
And I think maybe you still go into the orphanage.
Yeah, of course. Lucien's got to see the kids. He's going to do his best. It's okay. Everything's going to be all right. I talked to Mr. Nick, and we're gonna work this out.
And Tosh is there, and she's kind of her. How old is Tosh? Would you say?
6. I would say she's firmly 6 years and 3 months old.
Oh gosh, I had 6 months, but I'm trying to figure out a 3-month-old. Okay. Tosh, kind of by yourselves, says,
Mr. Lucien, the railroad took my mom and dad, and now they're going to take me too, aren't they?
No. The railroad, it didn't really take your mom and dad. They're with the gods now. The railroad, it's just some thing. It's a bunch of steel. But it can't take who we are. And it's not going to take you. I won't let it.
I love you, Mr. Lucien.
Love you too, Tasha. I got you something.
More candy? And she smiles, and those just rotten teeth are gleaming at you. Well, they're not rotten, but you know.
Yeah.
They're not in the best condition.
Yeah. More candy. You're fit molasses.
She takes it, and she just starts digging into it. And I imagine you're probably sharing it with her as well in that moment.
I don't care for sweets.
What?
Yeah, years of smoking cigarettes have just deteriorated my taste buds to the point where...
So I'm talking about people, deep character development episode in this episode. So head back home, and that is swimming through your mind for the next, that entire night.
I definitely don't think Lucien sleeps. I think he is up all night just praying and just trying to find any sort of guidance that he can for what he can do.
In the middle of the night, a time, I'd say even early morning, when no one is out and about and no one comes to your place especially. Are you at the temple? Do you live at the temple?
Yeah, I do. I live in the temple, like the basement. It's like a storage area. And it's where, like, if there were any other super young priests, initiates, like, most of the priests are older. The only reason why Lucien gets to kind of hold that title is because he is a cleric, and he can perform these miracles. And so they kind of just toss me in the basement with, like, dry goods.
I think you hear a knock at your door.
Hello, Father?
And the door opens, and in steps, and I didn't describe him in the first episode, but he's a pretty nondescript human male. He's wearing a nice suit, black suit, tie, and sunglasses, even inside this, and it's I imagine it's lit, but it's dimly lit in your room. Is that right?
Correct.
Steps in and closes the door, and he says, "Don't be alarmed. I come from an organization. And at first, the way I was going to approach you was a little bit different, but I witnessed your interaction with one Mr. Nick Tangle today.
Oh.
I'm with an organization that seeks to find the troubles of the world, not necessarily the troubles you are experiencing. Things much, much bigger, much more dire if they are allowed to exist or if they show up in this timeline, in this world. But we need people who have a special set of skills. And Lucien, your skills have, with no pun intended, come to light for us. And my organization is interested in your abilities that you have not yet nearly peaked on as an individual. Now, I understand that you have some affection for the orphanage that you visited today, perhaps the children inside as well. My offer to you is unrelated in that we would simply ask that you join us in stopping one, bad men who can exist like that all over the world. And beyond that, the greater items, the greater dangers and perils that exist. We think that you would be a formidable asset for us.
I don't know what I could do for you.
What do you do for those kids every day that you visit?
I try to give them hope, genuine affection, things they don't have.
And why do you rush off every single day to that orphanage? A place that usually is filled with lack of hope, it seems desolate. It seems like a place where people leave the things they don't want, the forgotten things.
You just said it. They don't have it. They need it. So I give it to them.
And what do you get in return?
A good night's sleep.
Lucien, if you will, for a moment, imagine that the world in its entirety is an orphanage. There are people all over, groups of people, nations, cities, states, whatever it might be. There are sects of populations who are very representative from that orphanage and need people just like you who say to themselves, I can make a change here. And at the end of the day, if all you get's a good night's rest, well, I'd say it's a pretty good exchange. That's what we seek to do.
I want to help you. It sounds like your cause is noble, but if I leave here, then they have less than nothing.
As is often my duty in recruiting, I am able to help you take care of, make a request to us, anything you want in your absence, because if you choose to come with us, you will be effectively dead. That's how people will know it to everyone around you. You'll leave this world, they think, to join us. And so in exchange, we often say, and we deliver on this, what can we do for those you love if you were to leave and come with us?
I don't know how powerful your organization is. I have love in my heart for every child of the gods on this earth. So I would settle for Taggart if you could take care of the people here, especially the kids. Did you say I would be dead?
People will know you as dead. You won't be
dead.
Oh.
Your existence
everybody?
to everyone you know, you will cease to exist.
Oh. But if I do that, then I go with you, and I can help people who need me, and you'll take care of Taggart.
Yes. Tell me this, Lucien. What do you require specifically for Taggart?
Well, do you have something to write with?
He snaps his fingers and like a pad comes to his hand and a pen as well. Go on.
So first and foremost, the railroad, it can't tear down the orphanage and put the railroad through there. That can't happen. And
okay.
Well, Tasha especially, she's been through so much. So if she could be taken care of. There's old Mrs. Went. She lives on the first level. She can't get around so much anymore, so she needs someone to bring her groceries. And she doesn't always have a lot of coin. So I usually do that for her on Thursdays. So
I figure this this goes on for some time, and he, without missing a beat, he writes it all down and kind of give him like one last item in this long laundry list of things.
And then, I mostly what I do around here is just chores, but they could probably use another acolyte just to kind of the old priests, they kind of need like a whipping boy. So if they were somebody to do like scout work, it would make them feel better.
Lucien, what I can guarantee you is all of the items leading up to your last request. I think we'll have to leave that one up to specifically the priest here. But I can promise you that all other requests will be filled. The railroad will not come through. Those kids will be taken care of. And Mrs. What's her name on the first floor again?
Mrs. Went.
Mrs. Went, she will have plenty of groceries for years to come.
And he kind of just like he's been very tense this whole time. He kind of just relaxes and his shoulders drop, and he's had like this stub of a cigarette hanging off of his lip, and as he just relaxes, it just falls to the floor and kind of just snubs itself out. Oh. Well then, what do you need from me?
We'll be back to get you in an undisclosed amount of time. We'll give you 1 month to prepare. So, of course, you can't tell anyone about us, of course, and we'll be watching, so don't do that, please. And that's not a threat. We can erase your memory, so to say, and it would just be about us. We just wouldn't want you to know. And you would go back to your normal life. If you say no, you'll just be living your life normally. You would have never met me, and things would be just as they are for you now. But if you choose so, and it seems like you may be on board now, we'll be back in it. You have a month, and it may be 2 months before we come back, but at least 1 month you are given.
Okay. Thank you. You, I feel like really answered my prayers. Thank you.
And he kind of looks up. I don't know if you have do you have anything like dedicated to Nova in your
there's a candle that has been with Lucien since he moved here, and since then it has been one flame that he's lit from candle to candle to candle, keeping the same flame alive the entire time. That is kind of his idol as he prays to Nova.
He looks at that and he says, "We need more people like you on our team." And he turns and he walks out the door, and then you hear like a popping sound. See a bright light come underneath the door quickly, and then you hear nothing else. It's just the normal silence or whatever it is that you would normally hear. So then we transition. You were able to fall asleep that night after being up so late, but you don't get much sleep. Again, it was early morning, so if you're up at 4 a couple hours,
he's up even earlier because he feels like he's only got this month, and he's kind of got to kick it into overtime to make sure everything is as good as it can be before he leaves.
Yeah, so Lucien is running around, maybe having conversations with people, making it seem like he's going to go on a trip, like he's got to go on some spiritual journey almost. And so, I'm expect me to be gone. So he's kind of laying that foundation. But one person we've got to see you talk to is Tosh. And so, just like any other day, you head there. It's a pretty normal day. The railroad guy hasn't sent these people back in a few days. A few weeks, even maybe just a survey, but they haven't done anything to break ground. So you're wondering if maybe that was too good to be true. Did you actually meet this individual who said he could save the kids? And so you go into the orphanage.
Hey, Tosh.
Hey, Mr. Lucien.
Did you do anything fun today?
And she kind of leans in. She's like, stole some chocolates from out of the chocolate jar again.
You.
And then she holds out her hand, and she's like, I saved you one, but it's kind of melted because it's been in her pockets.
Well, you'd better just enjoy it.
Okay, and immediately, upon permission, chews it down, and then she's got chocolate around her mouth and maybe a little on her teeth as she's talking to you.
Can't do that. It's stealing is wrong.
But it's so good. It's just a little piece of chocolate.
Right, but if you take an extra piece of chocolate, that means one of your friends here doesn't get it. You see? So what are you going to do to make it up to him?
I guess I'll give my cookie at dinner. Somebody who can have it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
What you doing today? What's you done with your chores already?
Yeah, I still have a lot to do, but I wanted to come see you.
Ooh, next week I have a game. They're letting us go out in teams and play fantasy soccer.
I love fantasy soccer. I played fantasy soccer when I was your age.
Really?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think that you would do if I wasn't around?
I would just wait till tomorrow, Mr. Lucien.
What if I couldn't come back tomorrow either?
I'd just wait till the next day, Mr. Lucien.
What if I could never come back?
And she kind of looks at you just confused. Kids don't get that, the concept of forever. And she says, well, you wouldn't do that, Mr. Lucien. You love me too much.
Yeah, you're right.
Scene, I guess. Is there anything else, or so you kind of ends there? I think that's actually a good way to draw it back. Maybe he doesn't know how to handle that. I don't know if you've ever been in this situation as Lucien.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, what do you say to her? She's already lost her parents. She's living with this anxiety that her new home that she's just now getting acclimated to is going to be taken away from her, and her only friend is this awkward priest who, in order to keep her and have her some stability, has to leave now. So he can't tell her, because he knows how much it's going to hurt, and if he can make that not be real for one more day, then he's going to.
Excellent. So that it kind of pulls back. And then the last scene we're going to have is, it's been a couple days since you've told
Tasha about this, or had that conversation. She doesn't know that you're leaving. And probably has perhaps even forgotten why you asked that, And you're in your room and you've been up for a few days, probably just exhausted, waiting and wondering. And the day comes as you're sitting in your room, and you have your room is dimly lit, and you hear that pop, see that light, and you hear the knock at your door.
I come in.
And so, same gentleman comes in, sunglasses still, and he says,
if I don't want to interrupt, but I never asked your name.
I'm Agent Triad. Thank you. Are you prepared?
Right now?
This was the deal. You would be ready when I'm back. And so I really just asked out of a formality, but you've got to be ready.
I've got to be.
And so he holds up this device, kind of a small cylinder-esque device, a red light on it. And he presses a button. You see a bright flash. And that's where we're in the episode. Cool. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you love Lucien as much as I do. I haven't really been able to talk to Shainsaw a whole lot about this character. And so a lot of that was I'm guessing, a lot of improv. That's going to be real good later. For me, I was real good. Look, I'm trying to say that you did a good job just improving. Even if you hadn't thought about it, I loved it. How do you spell his name for the fans?
Lucien.
IEN. And when I said fans, what I ment was for your DM, because I had it as
the DM.
Me. Cool.
Me.
Anything last you want to say about Lucien before we sign off here?
I hope people will enjoy him. I love my sweet candle boy, my sweet chain smoking candle boy.
No one holds a candle to him.
Nope. He leaves the rest in his smoke dust.
It's waxy, smoky
smoke dust. You want to hear something funny?
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of off topic, but I think people will enjoy it. I almost interrupted you before the show even started. You did the 3, 2, 1 countdown before we said mark and record. I went, Mark, what?
Oh.
I almost
As we go
on Lawful stupid. But I was just like, oh, Devin talks now.
Yeah. I don't know if people love it or hate it, but I say to that,
I love it.
Who cares?
Who cares? It's me, Tony. Okay.
It's me.
We got to get out of here before we...
Love you guys.
We love you.
Bye. Bye.